All right. Good morning, good day. It's great to see the chat messages flowing in. And so feel a sense of connection with you all. So this week, I will be with you for this 7 a.m. I want to say a few words about the theme I have in mind for this week's both meditation and Dharmette. And I'll speak about the Dharmette later on. But I want to offer some guiding words about the meditation this morning. And some of you may have been on the 2-week retreat that just finished, and we were exploring the breath. And so this week, I wanted to kind of expand our meditation by exploring the overall inner kind of inner dynamics or inner dimensions of our being. And the metaphor I use is as if we're exploring nature. And so opening to the nature within ourselves that's embodied, that involves various aspects of mind and heart. And I might be using some of the nature metaphors for us to explore this. And we'll be starting with the first quality that's embodied, that has a sense of a grounding for us, and we'll build a kind of a progression over the course of the week, in this next few days. And so hopefully we'll be able to discover something within and this nature within ourselves. And so let's begin. I'm going to start with the sound of a bell. Riding along with the sound of a bell to arrive. Arriving here. Opening to the felt sense of arriving here. Maybe the sense of space is palpable, the outer space and the inner space. And arriving now, this moment. I'm reminded that in Chinese, often here and now has an emphatic expression. This place, this moment. Arriving at where we are and how we are, without demanding things to be otherwise. Maybe feeling and sensing the overall sense of the body, sitting, lying down, or whatever posture you're taking right now. If a few long, deep breaths allows for a deeper sense of arriving and connecting with the here and now, inviting a few long, deep breaths. And as you breathe out, settle down here, deeper. A sense of mindfulness may become a little more continuous. With moment to moment meeting with our experience. And there may be a sense of a heartfulness, whatever this word might mean to you. You don't have to figure it out. For me, there is just a sense of opening and easing up in the heart space. Maybe the chest, torso, becoming available. The momentary experiences are always available to us. Are you available to the moment? What's the felt sense of being available to you? There may be a global sense of relaxation and ease. The sense of a body resting down or resting back. Gently turn your attention to the lower half of the body. If you're sitting, maybe feeling and sensing the pelvic floor, connecting with the earth underneath, chairs, couch. And if you're lying down or standing, gently turn the attention to where the body makes the contact with the earth underneath. And sensing the firmness of the bones. In this body, there is an earth element in the body. That is firm, solid, heavy. Like the sit bones rooted on earth. And feeling and sensing this earthy body resting on earth. Like boulders in the riverbed. What's the felt sense of the earthy body for you? You don't need to think about it. Trusting your own felt sense. Maybe it's a silent. The earth element in this body is relatively steady. Still and quiet. Releasing the momentum to try to figure it out. Trusting your felt sense. Sitting like a mountain within. There may be a sense of grounding in the earth element in the body. So fortunate that this body naturally can ground. Releasing the body to the gift of gravity. Sitting like a mountain. So thank you everyone for your practice. And I feel the kind of quiet and silence here. And so it's nice. I want to offer a few words about what I was thinking about sharing this week in terms of a Dharmette. And so there is a short sutta in Samyutta Nikaya, the Pali Canon, that has been rather alive in me. And this is Samyutta Nikaya 22.101, and those of you who are interested in looking it up. And this sutta has a few very interesting similes, and the Buddha used to kind of describe some of the overarching characteristics of how we cultivate and develop various capacities and skills. And like many of the short suttas, the Samyutta Nikaya suttas usually are rather short. They often start with quite a dramatic or kind of empathetic kind of statement. And unlike, so kind of like all the other suttas, in many other suttas in Samyutta Nikaya, this sutta also started out with emphatic statement about destruction of the taints. So some of you may have heard this phrase, which often is kind of related to awakening, liberation, ending dukkha. And Gil on this retreat that just finished also used the word sting, or removing of the sting in the mind that kind of block us to see things clearly. And so it opened up with this statement: I say that the destruction of the taints is for one who knows and sees, not for one who does not know and does not see. I'm going to pause, let the word settle. I'm going to read this again and see what's just kind of feel what the effect of this statement for you. I say that the destruction of the taints is for one who knows and sees, not for one who does not know and does not see. I kind of feel the power of this statement. Sometimes I would get goosebumps reading it. I didn't have it today. And then, like many of the short suttas, you follow on by saying, what is it that one sees and knows that leads to this way of being? And so it is seeing the arising and passing away of the 5 aggregates. So this week I won't talk about the 5 aggregates, because this is quite a teaching in its own right. So what I will be doing is to offer just a few words about this, but then focus on the cultivation and development aspect of what this sutta is talking about. And so 5 aggregates are kind of ways that the Buddha is pointing at how some of these major humanly processes that are in the body, mind, and heart that we tend to get entangled in them. And the Buddha is inviting us to really know and see these humanly processes in the way they are, and that they are impermanent, and they're not something for us to grasp in or cling. And yet, in this kind of logically, intellectually, it's not so hard to understand. We all know our body changes, our mind changes, and we have all these different processes that are constantly changing. But just knowing this, doesn't always seems to take us out from our clinging to this humanly processes, and that's in the body, mind, and heart. And so I want to just kind of pause right now, right here, to reflect back. What is this knowing and seeing? And so in the meditation this morning, I was using a phrase again, that is felt sense, or feeling and sensing our way in. And for me, this phrase often is pointing to the aspect of dropping out of maybe conceptual overlays, our ideas about what our experiences are, but rather letting this embodied capacity to feel and sense what's here. And maybe in fact we kind of release a lot of these layers of ideas and conceptual overlays. And yet, this kind of a knowing and a seeing are not always easily available to us. And I was flying home this last weekend from a training retreat, and I was sitting in the airplane in the evening time, and the flight was taking off, and I was wearing sunglasses. After a while, and I noticed just right around the wing outside of the window formed this kind of rainbow color, a kind of layer. It was, quite miraculous, just kind of seeing it and being with it. It was very beautiful. I was just kind of paying attention to this for quite a long while. And then at some point, I kind of realized, I was wearing sunglasses. So I took my sunglasses out. It was kind of brown and gray all of a sudden. The whole rainbow color layer just disappeared. And that was a little moment of disappointment. But this is kind of the way that oftentimes, without cultivation and development of our heart and mind, we can be relating to our world through a lot of different kind of filters, concepts, ideas, views, beliefs that may be formed decades or lifetimes, and not realizing that we're seeing and knowing through this. And so this felt sense allows us to drop in a much more kind of deeper immediacy of knowing and feeling our way. And so in this sutta, the Buddha went on by saying that this kind of knowing and seeing will become available through kind of wholehearted and proper cultivation and development. And without cultivation and development, we will operate in kind of a habitual ways of relating to our experiences through this kind of filters that distort the reality. And so in this sutta, the Buddha kind of took a turn. He did not elaborate on the 5 aggregates, but he pointed out how we may have to really give ourselves to a cultivation and development. And the cultivation is and development that the Buddha pointed out in the sutta is the 37 wings of awakening. Some of you would know, it includes the 4 foundations of mindfulness, 4 right effort, and I'll say ... all the way to 7 factors of awakening and 8 noble, the Noble Eightfold Path. And so it's through this cultivation. And again, this week we're not going to elaborate on the 37 wings of awakening. Many of you know various aspects of this. And I take it that the Buddha wasn't saying that you have to just, do all of this, but there is a set of specific cultivation and that we must engage in for us to begin to open up to this different way of seeing and knowing. And in fact, in the sutta, the Buddha said, if someone develops their mind and heart anyway, in this way, one of the 37 wings of awakening, one of those lists, even if they didn't have the wish to awaken, it'll happen. Because it's the nature of this cultivation and the development. It's very natural for this way of knowing and seeing that is undistorted to become accessible and available. And so this is a very kind of, you don't have to wish that we will kind of destruct the and dukkha, but instead, if we give ourselves over to the cultivation in the proper way, this will happen. And so that's very different from a kind of a goal or result-oriented culture. And then in the rest of the sutta, I'll give you a teaser right now, that the Buddha used 3 different similes to highlight some different aspects of how we cultivate, and used the simile of a chicken and eggs. And the second simile is using this holding as. And the last simile is this rope used to anchor a ship. And we'll unpack the similes for the rest of the week. And I think you have a little overview for this sutta today. And we'll end right here. So thank you everyone for your practice and sharing this precious practice space. And so may you all have a wonderful rest of the day.